The human mind can be a haunted house, filled with the ghosts of conversations that never happened and memories of futures that will never arrive. It is a quiet, endless wandering, a constant attempt to map out every possible outcome before the world can catch you off guard. You are a phantom traveler, part of a quiet generation of minds that learn to build fortresses out of thin air. The chronic overthinkers, the architects of the void. We are going to explore the hidden corridors of this habit, to understand the heavy, silent weight of why you retreat and what your brain is actually trying to protect you from, deep within that mental simulation. Because life is a pendulum swinging between two extremes, the harsh, biting wind of a reality you cannot control, and the soft, glowing nostalgia of an imaginary world where nothing can ever hurt you. Here is the truth, creating complex imaginary scenarios. Pacing a dimly lit room at 2 a.m., whispering arguments to the bathroom mirror. It is not a sign of madness. Society loves to tell you it's a glitch, a failure to launch, or a concerning detachment from society. But let me be entirely clear. This is not a loss of grip on reality. It is a highly evolved, perfectly functioning survival mechanism. Your brain is fundamentally a relentless prediction machine. It is constantly, desperately trying to gain leverage, to find solid ground in a modern world that feels increasingly chaotic, loud, and unforgiving. Think about your own mental patterns. We've all been down that rabbit hole. You replay that one awkward, humiliating conversation from 3 years ago. But this time, you don't freeze. This time, you deliver the perfect razor-sharp comeback, or maybe you go further. You give an in-depth, 2-hour interview to a late-night host while staring at the shower wall, explaining your life philosophy to an imaginary audience that actually understands you. You might even imagine the tragic loss of someone you love, forcing yourself to cry in the dark just to feel emotionally prepared for the worst possible timeline. You do this, and you feel a strange, quiet sense of relief. You feel ready, and you should feel a profound sense of pride in this mechanism. Because at some critical point in your life, maybe when your environment was deeply unstable, when you felt entirely unheard by the people around you, or when the sheer volume of the real world was simply too abrasive, your brain adapted. It didn't break down under the pressure. It built a sanctuary, a mental panic room. You survived the overwhelming noise and expectations of reality by learning how to hit, pause, step outside of the physical space, and run the simulation. You became a quiet, brilliant architect of your own safety. This isn't just dark poetry or late-night philosophy. This is hard, measurable neurology. When your mind wanders away from the present moment, it activates a web in your brain known as the default mode network, or the DMN. But here is the fascinating part. In hyperactive, highly analytical minds like yours, this network doesn't just passively daydream. It acts as a state-of-the-art flight simulator. It engages heavily in what cognitive psychologists call counterfactual thinking. Your brain is literally rendering alternate realities, processing the what could have been to digest past traumas and building complex 3D models of what might be to map out future threats before they can physically hurt you. When you look at the raw science of it, you realize you aren't a broken person wasting your life. You possess a unique, almost unfair cognitive advantage. While others stumble blindly into the future, reacting on pure, messy instinct, you are running thousands of Monte Carlo simulations in the dark. You have developed a profound, heavy empathy, a deep psychological foresight, because you have lived 1,000 different lives, felt 1,000 different emotions, all from the absolute safety of your own skull. You speak 2 languages fluently, the harsh, unfiltered dialect of the real world and the silent, infinite language of the mind. But if it's such a superpower, why do we get stuck there? Why does it feel so heavy, so isolating, and so incredibly addictive? It ultimately comes down to the most primal human need, the search for agency, control. Out there in the physical world, you're at the mercy of strangers, volatile economies, and sheer, brutal bad luck. You might feel powerless, overlooked, or deeply misunderstood by a society that moves entirely too fast. But inside the simulation, you are the undisputed director. You write the script. You control the lighting. The brain is bathed in a warm, comforting rush of dopamine because, in the simulation, you always know the exact right thing to say. You always win the argument. The hero always saves the day. Your brain gets hooked on the neurochemical reward of a flawless victory, a victory that costs you absolutely zero real-world risk. And right here is where the trap snaps shut. This is the deep, silent pain of the chronic overthinker. The problem isn't the mental rehearsal itself. The tragedy occurs at the exact moment the simulation becomes a permanent substitute for action. For a generation raised on constant underlying crises, economic crashes, digital isolation, the perpetual feeling that the floor could collapse at any second, the anxiety of real-world failure becomes paralyzing. The terror of rejection, of looking foolish, of things going entirely off script. It keeps you locked in the rehearsal room forever. You begin to mistake the warm feeling of being prepared for the act of actually living. This is the core, agonizing conflict of your life. You are caught between a brilliant, highly adaptable mind trying to predict every single variable to keep you safe, and the deep emotional trauma of feeling utterly paralyzed. You desperately want to connect. You want to live deeply, but you are terrified of the unscripted, messy nature of real human beings. So you retreat again and again. You choose the fake, perfectly controlled warmth of the daydream. Like a VHS tape, you can rewind and edit over the cold, unpredictable, often painful friction of reality. You become a ghost haunting your own life, watching the world through a screen of your own making. You are a master of the inner world, yet you feel like a stumbling novice in the outer one. You are brave, incredibly articulate, and heroic behind closed eyes, but quiet, hesitant, and guarded in the flesh. And I need you to hear this. That is entirely okay. Holding these two massive opposites inside you doesn't make you a fraud. It makes you complex. It is the very foundation of your identity. Living with this extreme contradiction is the baseline reality for the deep thinkers of this era. You don't have to choose one over the other. You just have to learn how to balance the scales. But to move forward, we must be honest and look at the ledger. What has been lost to the static of overthinking? Time, years of it, slipping away like rain on a window pane. Raw presence, the ugly, beautiful, terrifying spontaneity of a moment that you didn't plan. But look at what was gained in the shadows. A rich, impenetrable inner sanctum. A profound depth of character that superficial people will never, ever understand. The ultimate realization is this. The mind is a spectacular, breathtaking place to visit, but it is a terrible, suffocating, lonely place to live. So if you feel like you've spent the best years of your life living in the clouds, using fantasy as a shield against a harsh world, it is time to shift the paradigm. Look in the mirror. You are not weak. You are a highly prepared, deeply aware individual carrying a heavy armor. Take that mental flight simulator. Use it to prepare. Use it to heal your old wounds. But then you must open the door. Step out of the cockpit. Have the immense, terrifying courage to trade the sterile, perfect control of your fantasies for a reality that is flawed, uncertain, awkward, and entirely authentic. Because you are ready. You've rehearsed this a million times. It's time to press play. If this spoke to the quietest, most hidden parts of your mind, if you finally feel understood today, leave a like. We have a lot more to explore, and we need you with us. I'll see you in the real world.